Were you able to access that?
This session is being recorded.
Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Yeah, but I mean, were you able to access the recording URL?
No, I've been working all day. You know the time difference. When you sent it, I was already at work. And I'm just reaching home like 1 hour ago.
Okay, okay. So, but still you can access, I mean, you can try that
Yes,
in case
I'm
you face.
definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Smriti,
Satya,
what about you?
I have not received it.
Actually, I sent it on, the WhatsApp number which I had.
Oh, okay.
I'll just
Uh,
confirm you. If
okay, I got it. Actually, that's not my WhatsApp. Actually, I don't use. It's my brother's. I'll get it from him. No issue.
Okay, or maybe you can give me your WhatsApp number so that I can add you in that group.
Yeah, actually, Satya, I don't use WhatsApp. So,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. I'll get it from him. Not a problem.
Okay, fine, fine. All right. Okay, so for today's agenda, I basically wanted to kind of cover the data connection where we left yesterday, and then I wanted to go through the joins, basically some of the joins we saw yesterday, but again that was just high level. Today we will add some data and then we go through those joins. And post that, we would like to know about the dimensions, measures, different data types which are there in the Tableau, and how to add new data sources once you are in the data visualization area. So these are the like high level topics what we will be covering today. But with these, we'll go through some other details also. Right. So let me share my screen. Yeah. I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay. Did we create our account into tableau.com and other websites? The two websites which I gave?
Yeah.
Yes, Satya.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so right now let me just connect to one of the data sources here, the data files what we have. We can go there, connect to sample superstore, and we can drag any of our sheets here, whichever we want. So for example, if I drag orders, I have all these fields. Now, yesterday we covered this filter, how you can sort your data from this screen. How can you, in case you want to do kind of data conversion, let's say it is string right now. Yeah, string cannot be changed, but again, things like this row ID, it is in number right now, number whole number. You can convert that into string, or like these type of conversions you can perform right here. Apart from that, if you explore these some options like ascending, descending, then looking at the metadata. So if you see here, I just clicked on these this icon, and I'm able to see the metadata, like what is the field name, which table it is coming from, and a remote field name. Like once we move towards the data visualization view, how this field will look like. And there are cases wherein, let's say, if your data set has huge number of fields, Tableau doesn't show all of them. So, I mean, by default, it won't show all of them. It will show a kind of preview of some lines. It will not show everything. In that case, you need to click here, show hidden fields also. So it will show all the hidden fields which Tableau doesn't show by default. So you can, like, sometimes if you are not able to see all the fields, you may try this option so that at least you'll see everything what is there in the data in terms of fields. Another thing could be, let's say you connected here, you are able to see the preview of your data that shows 1,000 rows in a go. You can increase the number or you can decrease the number, so that's also possible. Not only here, once if you go to click on go to worksheet or click here on the sheet, you will see the same connection here, and from here too, you can click on this icon to view data. You'll be able to see your data here, the data which you have connected to. So these are the different ways, like whenever let's say you create a calculated calculation or field and you want to see that what type of values are coming, you can utilize these features in order to see that. And another thing is like you can export this data into CSV format from here. So that's also possible because sometimes let's say if you're connecting to a connection which is there on the Tableau server. So in that case, you will not have a direct access to the data. So if you are able to make connection within Tableau desktop, you can anytime come here and export this data so that you can get that data in Excel and do some kind of modification or maybe the analysis which you want to perform other than Tableau. Okay, I'll go back to that data source tab again. And here, yesterday we didn't cover this connection and extract. So far, I mean, yesterday though we discussed about briefly about extract, refreshing, and all on the server side. So this is on that particular topic only. Live connection means whether you are connecting to a file or you are connecting to a SQL Server database or any database. So live connections means as many times you will refresh your data, right? It is going to hit your database. Even from sheet, if you refresh it or if you like click on view data, it's going to hit your database. And let's say if 10 people, 20 people or 50 people are working on this report right now, if let's say 50 people are looking at one report at the same time, then 50 hits will be there on your database, right? The good thing is like everybody will get the latest data, but just imagine the traffic or the load which is going to be on the data source, right? So in order to avoid that, I mean that can crash your database, that can give direction to the security breaches and all, because if people have direct connectivity, they might kind of reach out and try to do some hacking activities and all. So that's why this live connection is avoided. But yes, with live connection only you can get the real time data. The second connection which is here, that is extract, and this extract is basically a replica of your data at the time when you are creating extract, right? So let's say if I click on extract, it is going to create a replica and it will save a copy of this data into my system. So when I say into my system, basically if I execute right now, it will create a copy into my local system in the same folder where we had a Tableau repository and data extracts, sorry, data sources. If we are on server, we can again save the same replica on server itself. So whenever we will refresh our data being on server, it will save a copy on the server itself. So these are the two ways you can connect to your data sources. I'll click on this edit sign right now because earlier it was not coming once it was live. As soon as I selected extract, it gave me options like edit and refresh. So I'll click here. Now this pop-up comes. So if you look at this pop-up, yeah. So it says specify how to store data in the extract. It's a single table or multiple tables. Then you have, do you want to apply any filter on data extract itself? You can apply filters. You will get the same screen what we got yesterday. You can select a field, okay, and then save wildcard conditions stop. So everywhere in Tableau for filters, this is the same screen what you get, same pop-up what you get everywhere. So you'll be very familiar with this screen as we go further. Then another thing is aggregation. do you want to save aggregated data in extract? Which means, let's say if you're connected to a transactional database. Before I talk about this thing, do we know what is transactional database and what is analytical database?
You said transaction database and what?
Analytical database. Or in other words, you can say OLAP and OLTP.
Okay, OLAP and OLTP.
Yep.
Online. OLAP and OLTP. Online.
Yeah, Smithy, you can also tell in case you know.
I didn't get you, Satya. Could you please
Okay.
repeat?
So there are two keywords called OLTP and OLAP. What are these?
Actually, OLTP is for analyzing the transactional data. It is the online transactional processing, and OLAP is something which where we analyze the historical data. We do the analysis of our like data warehouse kind of analysis that comes into OLAP.
And then what is OLTP?
OLTP is the day-to-day transactional processing, kind of live data.
Okay, right, correct. So yeah, so basically OLAP is online OLAP, right? That is where we have the historical data, as Smriti said. So let me talk about first OLTP. So like in banking domain, right? What happens? Every day number of transactions are being done. So what happens? We don't get the aggregated data like in our bank statement. We simply get record by record details. It doesn't give the aggregated number. So OLTP is basically the online transactional protocol wherein we get row by row details of the daily transactions. Those type of databases are not good for analysis purpose. The reason being, you will have huge number of records and doing analysis on that might hit the performance of your database so that your application will get affected because transactional databases are usually in the back end of applications, real time applications, right? So that's why we don't do analysis over OLTP databases. We use OLAP databases which are specifically for analytical protocols. Over there we have historical data and then we do the analysis. So generally in OLAP databases, we keep aggregated data, right? Maybe by date, by people, by the IDs. We define some, data model for that. Basis that we do aggregate data so that we don't store row by row records. Again, it depends on the model and the person who's kind of creating the data model for it. But again, it's good to have aggregated data only so that analysis purpose it will be good and it will not hamper the performance. Then the second segment here says number of rows. Do we want to kind of extract all the rows every time whenever we refresh it? Or do we want to do an incremental refresh? So what is incremental refresh? Any idea?
Incremental what?
Incremental refresh.
I've not heard
You can
of
see
that.
my mouse. Okay. So incremental refresh is basically, let's say in your data, you are getting a date field, right? Or maybe a time field. Basis that, or maybe a ID field, right? It could be ID field also. Basis which you can identify whether it's a new record or old record. Okay, so next time when you are going to refresh your data extract, it will take only new records. It will not take the old previous records which are already there in your data extract, right? Whereas the first option will take the extract of all the records whether they were there in your extract or not. It will, if it was there, it will replace the old records, right? But in case of incremental, it will only fetch the subset of the data which is new. It will not refresh or extract the old records. Though in the final extract you will have the complete set. Then we have top option. You can suggest like I want to take the refresh of only top 100 rows or top 1000 rows. So that you can do. In the sample, again you can mention only these many rows, right? So that you can define. So generally, in most of the scenarios, we either go with all or incremental refresh is the best one. Incremental refresh will tell you that this is what field you can take the refresh. So over here we have ID, we have quantity, but quantity will not be used in this case. Not neither the postcode. We will have order ID or order date or ship date or row ID. These three fields are the best to go with the incremental refresh because every time you will get a new date time or a new ID. Hope this makes sense why I'm talking about IDs and dates.
Yes,
This
Satya. Satya,
incremented.
yeah, Bio, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking, like, how about aggregated data, Satya? Will it be able to do this incremental request on aggregated data as well?
So when we say aggregated, basically there has to be some basis on which you will take it, right? So
Yeah.
you are doing a daily reporting. Okay. So in that case, you will select a day. What it will do, basis all the fields what you have in your data, it will create an aggregated by day. Okay, so every day, the aggregated data what you are getting every day, it will give you the sum or total whatever you apply on your data extract. It will aggregate basis day and add a new record in your data extract.
Yeah, I got that point, but just wanted to understand if this incremental replace will work on aggregated data as well, or it is just the
No,
non-aggregated data.
no, it will work. See, the reason being why it is there, but frankly speaking, it is not used much. The reason being, in the day-to-day scenario, if you talk, either you would like to aggregate data basis the customer ID or your kind of the unique ID what you have, right? You will never want like your data should get extracted or aggregated basis day, like total number of records. This is it may be a certain report wherein you want to just add for a particular day, you want to add one record, right? Like I want just the total row of this particular day. In those scenarios you can use it, but in the real time, real cases, we don't want to aggregate on day. We want to aggregate basis customer ID or some ID which is given in our data. For that, this case is not used. It's a very
Okay,
rarely used
uh,
scenario.
let's consider a scenario where we are analyzing the expenditure, average expenditure of a person. So let's say today is the second day of the month. First day I have spent 100 rupees. Next day I am spending 50 rupees. So it should get aggregated to 75, right? Till that date.
No,
So
no,
will
but
those kind of aggregation will happen here?
no, no, just one thing.
Incremental aggregation.
One thing, yeah. You said for one person, or you want to do it for, in your data there are number of people, but you want to aggregate basis person or basis day. What do you want?
Per person per day.
No, so that will not be possible here. As soon as you said per person, right, this case will go wrong. If you want only per day, then you can apply this,
Okay. Yeah,
right?
got it.
Right? If there is only one person and you want to aggregate every day, like let's say I'm the one, I do 10 transactions every day, but in the report you want to show one record every day that this is the total amount which I expend, right? So in that case, you can use this. But in case you have number of people, then this case will fail.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So in 99% scenarios, people do either all record or they go with this incremental one. That is what is being used because it will, fasten the process and it will give you the all the records as your source data without doing any calculation on the fly. Okay. So single table, I'll say all records and I will click. Okay, there is another tab called history, extract history. It will tell you that how many times you have refreshed your data. So it will show you all that history. But right now we are just creating it. So I'll just say, okay. Still I don't see any kind of refresh here. Okay, as soon as I just clicked on sheet 1, it's asking me to where I want to save this particular extract. You can see here Tableau data extract dot hyper, and this is the name what it says here, default name for my extract. So I will say superstore extract, and I'll save it in the same Tableau repository data sources. If I go back, now you will see refresh button is enabled and it says extract includes all the data and this is the date when the last time extract was created. If I click refresh, it will refresh my data. You can come here, the time changed, or if you go to history here, it will show you one record that when the last time it was refreshed. Okay.
Is it something we do anytime we need to do anytime we want to create a report?
So in real-time scenarios, if you are continuously working on desktop, we do a lot. The reason being, let's say you are working on a report and it has number of scenarios and dashboards. So what happens? The live connectivity is not permitted. I mean, I would say not recommended because let's say you are working from office. After your shift, you want to go back home and you want to continue on your system, your laptop, right? In that case, it is good if you take the extract because data will be on local system then,
Okay.
right? You don't need the direct connectivity with the database. So I can just disconnect internet and I will still have access to this data. I can continue my work, right? So in case of file systems, definitely data is already there on your system, but in case of servers, it is a good approach to do while developing reports and even for once the report is published on Tableau server, then also it is advisable because while publishing you can give a schedule time like when you want this data to refresh. So it's a good scenario and in good practice. It is one of the best practices to follow in Tableau development.
Hmm.
So I'll go here onto the sheet. Okay, let me just show one more scenario. I'll just add the same database again. Let's say this added will come here. Okay, it's not working like that. Okay, let me just select on live. Then I will go to sheet. So here you can see the icon. It shows one cylinder, one cylindrical icon, right? If you get only one cylindrical icon, which means this is live connection. It's not extract. But as soon as you create the extract and then you go here, you will see the double cylindrical icon. So whenever you see the double cylindrical icon in the data sources under data, which means you are connected to a data extract. If it is one cylindrical icon, which means you are connected to live connection, live data source, right? Now, another thing could be, let's say you already connected to one data source, you want to add another data source. So there are ways, either you can come here, go to data and add new data source, or if you are on this sheet, you can directly click on this cylindrical plus icon, says new data source. Or you can go to this tab, add new data source. So these are the different options which you can apply in order to add new data source. Now, as of now, we have connected to one of the data extracts, and we are in an area where we see different, other cards, options on the Tableau sheet. So over here, anything which you see under dimensions, right? It will be either category wise field, or these will be kind of string fields wherein you can kind of do, on basis of these you can do aggregation, or you can show the categorical data. Maybe it will have date. So all those type of things which cannot be kind of aggregated will come into first segment under dimensions. Under measures, you will have mostly numerical fields which you can aggregate, do the sum, average, or plot on map. So latitude and longitude, these two fields are related to geographical locations, and they are generally getting created by default if you have address, city, or some other fields related to your data. Now, with that, there are two fields like measure values and number of records. These are the two defaults, one which is being created by Tableau whenever you connect to any data source. Okay, so measure value will be the measure values of all the measures, and this number of records will not, it will not be specific. It will have just one, so that it follows basically the logic of row ID. So row count what you have in SQL Server or any database. So in case you just drag this field to number of rows or columns anywhere, you will get to know like how many rows you got in your data. So it shows 10,000. I just fetched here and I got 10,000, which means I have 10,000 rows in my data. So it's just very easiest way to show like how many rows are there in your data, whatever data you have connected to. So I'll just remove this right now. But yes, this field is very useful. You can use it at many places. Now, other than this, on this particular area, you have this small drop-down icon under which you can see create calculated field, create parameter, group by folder, group by data source table, and some other options. And the same thing like hide all unused fields. So it is similar to what we had here, show hidden fields. It's similar because generally the fields which are not used, they, if you are continuously working on the same workbook, Tableau automatically hides those because they are not used anywhere. So in case you want to see all the fields, from here you can do that, show all the fields, or on a sheet place, you can go ahead and click on. Right now you can say hide because I was not using any field. I just simply connected to the data source. So I was getting only one option like hide all unused sheets. Now here I'm getting show hidden fields. So if I click back on this, I'll see all other fields once again. Right? So you can play with, because if you have let's say 100 fields, scroll down and all will be a very problematic. So you can use these options in order to manage the fields what you have, right? Now, calculated field will be kind of creating many calculated fields as we go forward. Then parameters we'll talk about, because parameter helps you to kind of create some customization, conditions, or selection options. Group by folder is an option. I mean, it was not there in the old Tableau version. If you go by 8 or 9, these options were not there earlier, but now they have given it. So group by folder is basically, let's say you have product ID, product name, and then there would be subcategory. Sorry. So what you can do is you can add them into one folder, right? Create folder, or you can say product, because all of these are related to products only. So you can say product or products. So what would happen? You will get one folder here, see, under which you have product ID, product name, and subcategory. So this is how you can create folders related to common fields which you utilize. Now that option was there. Let's say if I say, okay, I just clicked group by data source table, so that folder has gone. You don't see that folder now, the folder which we created. But if I go back again and say group by folder, you will see that folder once again. So this is how, like, basically you can create your own folders, and if you wish you can split them, or if you want you can keep them grouped, because it will help you to manage these fields. Again, I can create folder basis, city, country, region, and there would be region, city, country, region. I believe state will also be there. Yeah, state and province. So basis this, you can create another folder, and I can say geolocation. Okay. So I just created two folders, and it will help me to manage my fields. Now you don't see that scroll bar here. Still all of my fields are here, but you don't see that scroll bar. So that scroll down, scroll up, that thing will not be there anymore. Now, once we are done with this type of arrangements or management, whatever you want, uh, I'll just click on this analytics tab. Besides data, you see this analytics tab. Under this analytics tab, you have summaries, then you have model, and then you have custom. So basically, Tableau provides you, or it gives you flexibility to kind of apply a little more analytics over the data. Now again, you cannot apply analytics on all the fields what you have. When I say all the fields, basically all these fields. What would happen? Specific analytics or specific, let's say, algorithm can be applied only on a particular type of field. For example, if I say I need to do a time series analysis, right? I want to create a time series analysis over my data. But if I don't have any date field in my data set, will it be possible? Is it possible to do a time series analysis on a data which doesn't have a field, which doesn't have a date?
No.
Right. So it is very important to know, like, for a particular analysis, what are the fields which are required? Sorry, what are the fields you need to have in a data so that you can apply a particular logic or algorithm? Right. So I'll share one of the chart I have. Generally you can get it on Google also. There is one image which what tells, if you have these type of fields you can apply this chart, if you have this type of fields you can apply this chart. So that segregation and classification is there in that image. I'll share that with everyone. But here, my intent was to show, like, analytics tab, generally you will see that most of the things are grayed out. The reason is this only. that you need to have some field. Like you can see, as I have put my mouse here, it shows make sure the view has at least one axis that has one continuous field. Right now that tooltip has gone, but that was a message on that particular tooltip. So you need to have a specific field in order to apply a one particular algorithm. So that classification we will cover as we go. Another thing could be like scatter plot. Where is the scatter plot? Box plot is here, and then cluster. Because in clustering we use scatter plot. Do we know where we use scatter plot? Do we have any idea? And what is scatter
Uh,
plot by Smith?
uh, let's say we have the data like where it is randomly distributed over a large, huge range of area, and we want to see the concentration or the density in any particular area, then we can go for a scatter plot.
Correct, correct. In order to show the distribution, we can use a scatter plot. And in order to show the correlation also we can use scatter plot. Let's say we plot two variables in my scatter plot and we can see their distribution. Right? If they are dense together, if they are kind of rare together, we can say that they are correlated. So it can be used for those purposes also. But yes, let's just go here and click on this show me option. This show me option has several inbuilt charts what Tableau has. Now right now, most of the things are grayed out. The reason being I have not selected any field here. As soon as I select a particular field, you will see something enabled depending on the nature of that field. For example, if I say select discount, now you can see that two charts, one is bar plot and another is histogram. They are enabled. Okay. I can go to quantity, still the same, sales, still the same. Let me select ship mode. Now you can see only this first option is enabled and all other are grayed out. Order date, still the same, no change. But yes, as soon as I select two fields together, like one dimension and one measure, now you can see like many of the charts are enabled here. Which means these many charts satisfy by the combination of order date and discount. Right? Are you getting this point?
Yes.
Right. Which means by using these two fields, you can plot these many charts. Let's say if I add a little more, maybe segment. Now you can see two more got enabled. Okay. So this is how you would know, like if you have a date field, if you have a time field, if you have a sales, profit or numerical fields, what type of charts you can use, right? Again, this goes by, with the discrete and continuous nature also. You cannot use all the charts with your continuous data. You cannot use all the charts with your discrete data. So you need to have a different kind of combinations. Depending on your data, you can go with a particular chart. Now over here, some of the options are there that we will be kind of go one by one as we start creating our reports. Uh, on this particular area, you see three cards. One is page. We will be hardly using it. There is only one scenario so far I have used it. So we'll see that. Filters is the one which we will be using a lot. And this marks is the card which we will be using every time. Every time whenever we want to create anything, we will be using this mark. Now on this particular marks card, we have different other options like color, size, text, detail, and tooltip. There is one more called shapes that doesn't come every time until unless you don't select shapes here. Then only it appears. Okay. So this card will be highly used for any type of visualization you want to create here. Now, then you have kind of column cells. Here you will drop your column fields. Row cells, here you will drop your row cells. So having said that, let's go ahead and create a small chart. Maybe I would like to kind of, because I already selected the three measures. Okay, do you know like how to select all multiple fields here? Did you try that? How to select multiple dimensions and measures?
You press
By holding on to the control key and clicking it individually.
Yeah, right. So control button and holding the control button, you can click on these fields, they will be selected. So one way is I can just select those fields and come here and directly click on any of the visualization. It should create that, but it has not created right. It has turned into red. Why? Why is that? My segment is on rows. I selected segment. I have years, and then we have sum profit. It's a order date, fine. Okay. Let me drag one by one. Let's see what happens. Okay. Okay. I'm not sure what is there. I'll just refresh it and we'll go back once again. Okay, this order date was hidden, but still it's not working. I'm not sure what is there. Just give me 1 minute, okay? I'll okay. Okay, now it seems to be working. I don't know, I mean, there was some problem in the connection. So I'll just select those fields again, like order date, segment, and profit. We follow the same steps and we'll select the one of the visualization. So you can see it has automatically created one of our connections, one of our the small chart. Now the good thing here is by default, as soon as we selected those fields, I was not supposed to, I didn't drag and drop anything. Automatically by on click, it has created this view. If you go by these options here, you might have seen like I was able to delete everything from the sheet using this clear sheet option. Then you have this swap rows and columns. So using this, you can just change your rows and columns. So like segment and year, column versus rows, you can swap that easily. You can do the sorting, ascending, descending. This is for the labels, whether you want to show the labels or not. So over here, there are two things. The sum of profit is on two cards. One is related to color. So the darker the color is, which means the higher the number is. So there are two ways of formatting, or you can say notation, which has been done here. One is related to numbers and one is related to color, right? Another thing is like you can fix the axis so that it will not move. But in this case, we don't have any particular axis. It is rows and columns only. So that's why we will not be using this here. Standard, it is related to the display, how you want to see it. So standard will be normal display. But yes, you can say fixed width, fit width, which means whatever the width of your page is, the complete visualization will expand to that. Or you can do the fixed fit height. Now width is not there, height is there. Or you can do the entire view, so the complete table will appear in the complete page. Whatever visualization you use, it is going to happen like that. Next thing would be like these different options, which are whether you want to show it or not. So it depends. We generally, I myself, I don't go through these options much. We can play from the page filter and marks card and over here. So I will follow the same practice as we go, and we'll see how we can more customize it, make it more like by doing so formatting, we can how can we make it better, look better. So this was the table. We can change the visualization anytime by clicking on different icons, sorry, charts which are already enabled, whether it is bar chart, right, circle. This is kind of a scatter plot only. Scatter plot by categories. This is kind of trend, and this is the area plot. Again, it's a row bars, and then you can say bubble chart. So yeah, let's leave it, and we'll follow the same procedure by dragging one field at a time. Which means earlier I selected the fields and directly used the show me option. This time I'm going to drag one field at a time and we'll try to create the similar kind of visualization. So which means maybe order ID on columns. So as you can see, like by default you see year here. Okay, I'll come to this point again. How would we be able to change this into month, day, or some other schedule, some other time? Another field what I took earlier was segment, so I'll put it on rows. So you can see I have year on columns, rows on segment. The same thing is appearing here in the table. Now I want to plot profit here in the tabular format. So for that I would like to show profit as maybe a number or label on these dots here. So for that, let me just drag it here. Now you can see by putting that here, I didn't see the number, it is just the color got changed. So color got changed means over here for 2019, you can see it is 45,000. But if I go by for home office in 2016, that's 11,000 only. Which means it is appearing on tooltip. I can see the number, but in the table it is not appearing. In order to show the same number in the table, you need to put sum of profit on labels. For that, I'll just drag this profit once again and put it on label. So now you can see, I can see label as well as there is a dot in the background. That doesn't look good actually. Why? Because I'm not able to see it properly, right? Because dot is in the background and numbers are there. So maybe I get confused with some of the digits. So which means this visualization will not work and I need to kind of do some further formatting or tweaking into this visualization. So for that, I have several options. Those options are either I can go here on size, maybe I try to kind of increase the size. So it kind of got converted into this, which is again not good, right? Other than this, I can click on marks. I will have different options here. Maybe we can try bars. It shows a bar over there, small bar, but it's also not like that what we had earlier, but maybe on basis requirement it can be shown. Then I will go to line. This is again not good. So you can play with these permutation and combinations in order to show that. I'll click on square and this is exactly what it created, what we had earlier, right? So color was already there, label was already there, only the background which we were supposed to change. So by doing so, we have changed the label and now we can see wherever I have the maximum number or bigger number, I have more density, darker color, or if I have less number, I don't have, kind of, I have very light color over there. So this is the exactly same visualization we created manually without using those options. Now, another thing could be, let's say I don't want this visualization, I don't want to see a table. What I want to see maybe some other chart, right? It could be bar charts. So for that, I'll just select it here or I'll go here, show me and just click on this, right? So it has created a basic bar chart for me where I can see profit is there in each column, basically for different year, 2016, 17, 18 and 19. And then I have segment like consumer, corporate and home office. But I don't like this view. What we can do in this scenario? If you want to change this view, you can try changing rows into columns. It will be like this. But again, it doesn't look good because I can see the same color for all the years, right? Maybe I want to see the same kind of color combination. If my number is high, I should get darker color. If my number is low, I should get the light color. For that, I can drag sum of profit onto colors once again, right? How can we do that? I already have sum of profit. So there are two ways. Either you can drag profit field and put it onto color pill here. It will be like this. Or I'll do Control Z. Or you can hold on Control button, click on this field and drag it to the color pill. Sorry, it got removed from there. Yeah, no, it didn't work. So I need to have it on color pill only so that it will appear like this. Okay, but you can have, by pressing, holding on control, you can replicate the same field.
Yeah, when we hold on to the control and drag something, it just creates another replica, right? Another copy. So I think what you
Exactly.
were trying, yeah, it will work.
Yeah. That will work. I have used that. So that's why, I was talking about. But yes, so far it is clear. Bio and Smriti, any questions so far here?
It's clear, sir. Yeah.
This stage, no problem.
Okay, okay. Now, now I mean in the current visualization, my colors are based out of the profit density or the volume of profit. But let's say I really don't want it to happen. I want like consumer bar should have a different color, corporate bar should have a different color, and office bar should have a different color. So for that, in order to do that, I'll remove this profit from the color pill and I'll put segment pill on the color pill. So I'll just go ahead and do it like this. So each bar related to a particular department will have a different color in this scenario, right? Now let's customize it a little more. I don't want to see this profit keyword here. I would like to hide it. It's gone. What I did, I just right click here and said and uncheck the header. So it's gone. Other than this, I would like to show the number here because I don't know what number it is, right? Until I don't put my mouse on this particular bar, I don't know what number this is. For that, I'll go to labels, click on show mark labels. Now it shows my number on top of each bar. Maybe I don't like this number to be shown on top of the bar. I would like it to be shown in the mid of the bar. For that, I'll go further again and will say these options. Now, my label appears in the mid of, in the back, on top of the bars, but again it is in the mid, within the structure. But in this situation, the font is too big. That doesn't look good. So we'll go ahead and play with font here. Maybe I can do 7 or maybe 7, so it appears properly, right? So these type of things you can play with and kind of do the modifications in your chart. I'll just change this label. We'll say it. This is profit by segment. So profit by, or I can say segment profit by years. Further to that, I can select it, do a middle alignment, apply, OK. Or if you want to do further more formatting, go to format title, go here, change the shadow, maybe shades, oh, not that, borders, or if you wish, you can give some other color that will look a little better. So this is how you can change the colors of your visualization. Now another thing, over here in this place, you have year and segment. I mentioned like maybe I want to see the trend by month. I don't want to see the years here. So what I can do is I can right click here, go to quarter or month. I can change the visualization from year to month. So like this. Now you'll see different months coming across. Now the problem would be in this visualization because I've selected only month, right? So what would happen? This Feb month will show the count or the profit, aggregated profit of your 2016, 15, whatever years we had. It will combine all of those and show it to one. So this visualization is wrong right now. Do you understand why it is wrong, right?
Yes, Satya.
So this visualization is not right in the current moment. What we need to do is we need to have year also in this visualization so that we can show months by year and then the profit in different segments. So I need to drag the order ID order date once again in year format. So now you can see year 2016 we have January. If I go to year 2017 we have January again. If I go to year 2018, we have January again, right? So each year and the respective months. But if I remove the year, it will show the aggregated profit of January, Feb, March, irrespective of the years, right? So this is how you can, do further modifications into this particular visualization. I've just changed the same thing into tabular view. So you can see years, under that there are all 12 months, then another year, and then you have further 12 months. You can switch rows versus columns and the visualization will look like this. Any questions so far? Okay, so yeah,
No.
Smriti and Bio. So can you just talk about few challenges what you kind of face while working on Tableau? Any specific challenge in creation of charts? Because I know these are the very basic things, but yes, I can directly pinpoint those pain areas where you struggle much.
Yeah, for me, the calculated fields and trying to visualize data. So, yeah, trying to visualize the data and calculate most times calculated fields too, and trying to visualize the data to understand what the client wants. Yeah, to understand what the client wants and visualize the data.
Okay, okay, fine that. So yeah, we'll be covering calculated fields and we'll see like how to implement those into visualization. Yes, Smriti, anything from your side?
I haven't tried much there to be honest, but I have doubts on how to drill up, drill down, and how to understand what granularity you are working on, and how
Okay,
different types of report will support what kind of data I have, and what is the best fit report for that one or chat for that one. So
okay.
that kind of insights.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, maybe we can start with a drill down because we already have taken something here in terms of drill down. So we can definitely go ahead and talk about drill down capability. So over here, I mean, this was our initial view, right? Related to years when we had segment, profit, and years. Now, any field here in Tableau which is kind of related. So when I say related, we had products like product name, product ID, and subcategory. These are the related fields. Similarly, if I go by city, state, region, or country, those are also related. In the same way, any date field is always related. When I say any date field, basically I'm talking about year, month, quarter, week, day, right? Why? Because these things are following a particular hierarchy. They are in a particular order, right? If you talk about geographical location, first of all, country will come in picture, then state, then cities, and further, county and other things. In between, you can, kind of add a region also. So these things can be created as a hierarchy and put it into any dashboard or any place where it can be used for drill down capability purpose. Now, we already have the date field here, which is in the format of year right now. So I'll just go ahead and let me convert this into this picture. So I've just shown the trend of these three segments: profit, trending of consumer, corporate, and home office in these years. Now, if I just change this year formatting into quarter, so I can see the quarter wise profit trend in different years. I can click further, it will show me the month wise. Like each quarter, what is the month trending. We can go further up to day also, or we can go for the week also. Let's say if you want to show by the week number over here, you can show that, right? But yes, if you we are able to achieve this thing, right? But if you see over here, my year, quarter, month, earlier I had one field, now I have four fields. And then this visualization also doesn't look continuous. It's not giving me the good feel, right? So it's better to have a continuous visualization that can show a better picture. So I'll just remove all these things. We'll directly keep either week by year. So in each year, this is the weekly trending of different segments. Let me add segment into filter I'll say show filter. I'll go here. On filter side, we'll see many other options. Over here, I'll go ahead and say customize filter. Sorry, not customize filter right now. We'll cover it later. First of all, we'll go ahead and see these options like single value list, single value drop down, single value slider. Right now, you can see like multiple values list is selected. Multiple value list means it shows the list with the multiple value selected, right? So we can change that anytime whenever we want. Then we have multiple value drop down, multiple value column list, and then wildcard match. So I'll just go ahead and select single value drop down for a moment. Now you can see my filter got changed into single value drop down. I have a drop down here, and at a time I can select only one value. So right now consumer is selected. You can see the trend that how it is going up and down. Maybe if you wish, you can select corporate, or if you do wish, you can select home office, right? But if you want to see all of them, you can select all, and it will show a combination of chart, right? So this is again one way of doing it. I'm still not convinced with it, right? What I would like, and this is the problem statement for today. I'm not going to kind of solve it. We will solve it maybe tomorrow or day after, right? The problem statement is I want user to give a flexibility whether they want to see this data in weekly format, monthly format, yearly format, or daily format, right? Provided I don't want this kind of discontinuity. Like I want a continuous trend. You understood the question, right? Both of you?
Yes. So, like we'll be giving some prompt facility or something from which they will select.
You need to think about it. Right? I said we'll either do it tomorrow or day after. Right? We will implement, but you need to think like what are the ways? How can we do that? Because you might have seen in order to do one thing, there are a number of ways in Tableau. You can do the same thing, you can achieve one thing in many ways. So just think about it. My question will remain same. I want user to give a flexibility to show a continuous trend in one particular manner, either daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. Right? I don't want this kind of breakage. What is happening? Right? Year is changing. There is a break, discontinuity. I don't want this kind of discontinuity. Okay. I want a continuous trend for all the segments. It could be any profit, sales, discount, whatever you want to take, you can take. The only thing is like I want continuous trend and I want to give user a flexibility that they can select whatever they want to see. I don't want them to click on like, okay, this is years, now it is quarters, and then it will be week. But there is no continuity. In each cell, my numbers or trends is breaking. I don't want this. Okay, think about it. We'll do it. I'll just change this into years. Okay. Now, another thing, you might have seen some charts wherein you see like this trend, the width of this line changes. As you go up and down, the number or the width changes, right? We did talk about the shape like this. You can change it. You can control this, but what is happening in this scenario? The width is unique, sorry, height is unique everywhere. It's equal. It's not changing, right? I can keep it like this. It doesn't look, very good, but my height is same all across. Maybe what I would like to give a better visualization by changing the width depending on the profit or sales, right? So likewise, over here at this particular point, let's say if my profit is highest for corporate segment, I would like to show a maximum height over here. But as we go down this side or this side, because my profit is decreasing, I would like my height of this particular trend line to go down. Can we achieve that? And if yes, how?
Yes, okay. Could you explain? I didn't get it.
Okay. See what I was doing. If I increase this thing, you saw like the height of this trend line has increased, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is quite, you know, bold, I would say, for all the trend
Mm-hmm.
lines. I don't want this to happen. What I want, maybe because of profit, because I'm protecting profit here, right? So at this particular moment, for corporate line, my profit is maximum. So I want at this point my height should be the maximum, but if I either go left or I go right, because profit is less, I want less height of this particular line. How can we implement that? Any
The way
idea?
the way sort it.
Sorting, no, sorting will not work. If I heard it correctly, sorting will not work here. Because if we sort this data, these years, the order will change. Okay, let me tell you. So, see, you might have seen like as I'm increasing the size from this particular pill, the size of the complete trend line is changing. If we are able to control this size, right, we can control where we want it to be high or where we want it to be low. We can do that, right? If you are able to control this. And how can we control that? With the help of any measure. So what if I drag and put a measure on this particular size, the height of this trend line will be shown according to that. Here, if I want to show it by profit, because I wanted at this point it should be maximum and at this point it should be lower or lowest, I'll just use my profit field and we'll do the same by dragging profit into size. Now if you see, does it sound right what we said earlier?
Okay.
Right? If you see for this particular trend line, the height is maximum at this particular point. As we go towards this, it's again decreasing. And if you go towards this, it was the lowest. The same thing is for blue line if you see. Because it is continuously going up, up and up, so it's increasing continuously. It is based out of profit, right? But maybe I don't want it to be shown by profit. I want like the same line should talk about my sales figure also, right? What I can do is I can drag sales onto this and it will show the height of this trend by sales, which means if the height is more, we did a lot of sales, but there could be possibility that we could make good profit. Though sales is high, but profit is not that good. Or in other words, I can say, let me remove it. I'll drag quantity and I will say here, maybe I have sold many products, but my profit is not that good, right? So it depends on the commodity or the product segment where you are selling. It is possible that you sell a lot of quantities, but your profit is not that good. So those type of analysis can be done through, by dragging and dropping these type of measures onto trend lines. It shows the level. In case you want to show the level of segment or any other thing, you can drag that particular dimension on labels too. So I'll go ahead and drag segment. Now you can see home office, corporate, consumer. In case you want to show both, you can come here, segment, and then I want to show profit. So I'll drag profit onto labels, and now you can see it shows profit as well as segment both for my trend lines. So number of combinations, whichever you want to apply, you can apply that, and you will be able to kind of change the view. Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay, now let me go back to this particular filter. Over here, if I start from the first option, it says edit filter. This is the same screen we saw many times. So use all, then wildcard, conditions, and top. So let's say if I go here and say top 10 by city, right? Count, no, let's by quantity or maybe count. I want to see top 10 only by city, and we select one consumer or corporate or office, home office. I don't think it made much sense here. I didn't see any kind of changes. Okay, let me change some topic. Edit filter will say top region or top one region, let's say. At the place of 10, top 2. Okay, now yeah, it changed. So it shows top 2 by region.
Counts by region and sum by region. Do they do the same function?
No. It's different actually. That's what I'm trying to understand. It's not working well right now. The condition is not right. I want top to region count. No, region will again not be good here. Because count of region means it will just see the count of regions and will show top. So that will not work in a better way. We can say, let's say if I say sales, top 2. Okay. So basically, the top 2 is being applied over the segment because I'm changing the condition for segment. So it will show always top 2 because I have set top 2 segments by sum. So it will look at the sum of sales and show only top 2 at the moment. Right? Hope this makes sense. It's showing top 2 segments by
Sum of sales.
sum of sales. Okay, let me remove this. Will take at the place of segment. I will take cities. Duplicate. Over here, I will say at the place of segment, I'll take cities. Okay, and this time I'll apply that filter. I'll just hide it, and for this I will apply show filters, top condition top 10, and over here we'll say the same condition sales by sum. Okay, show
Sales,
filters.
I think you have done segment by.
Yes, Smriti, what you're telling right now?
Instead of selecting sales, by mistake you have selected the segment, I think, in the edit filter option.
Yeah, I did that earlier, but it got corrected. It's sales only. Okay.
Okay.
So now if you see, it shows top 10 cities by sum of sales. Right? Over there we were taking only two because regions are four only, and sorry, segments were three only, and out of that only two we were showing by sales. Now it will show top 10 by sales. Now we can change this condition by, let's say, I want bottom 10, I can select bottom 10 by sum of sales, and now you can see bottom 10 means most of them are in negative, like Missouri City, and then we have these cities which are negative or they have very less profit, right? Not even a continuous sales. That's why you see only dot there. It's not even a trend line. Okay. So I'll say use all, remove this condition for a moment. We'll go ahead and see other filter options. Okay, apply to worksheets. Over here we have four options. First option says all using related data sources. So related data sources means, okay, I'll cover the topic of joins and blending, then it will be clear. So it is possible that you are using multiple data sources in your workbook, and in that case you will apply some joins. So if you select this first option will be applicable to all the data sources which you have joined in this particular workbook, right? Which means, let's say one of your data is coming from ABC database and other is coming from XYZ database. You have joined those here in Tableau itself. And then if you select apply this filter and select this first option, this filter option will be applicable for both the data sources or both the data sets coming from both the data sources. Any doubt?
So if I hear you right, that's there's another additional data source. If you choose using related data sources, it will apply to it, right?
Right.
Okay.
The second option is all using this data source, which means you can have 10, 20, 50 sheets in this particular dashboard or sorry in this particular workbook. If you select this second option, this filter is going to be applicable to all the sheets which are using the same data source. Here we are not talking about the multiple data sources, we are talking about only one data source which is used by a number of worksheets. So it will be applicable to all those sheets which are using this particular data source. We are not talking about the joint ones, we are talking about the core data source which is used by this particular worksheet. So which means if I do this right now, I have one more sheet, the city filter will be applicable to that automatically. If I go here in the segment sheet, you will see city is applied here automatically, right? I didn't do anything on this particular sheet. I was working on city one, but I selected that option. That's why it appears here also. Okay. Then the third option is related to selected worksheets. So selected worksheets gives you option that on which sheets you want it to be applied. So let's say you have 10 sheets, but you don't want this filter to be applicable on all the sheets. You can choose those sheets where you want this to be applicable. So you will get, right now I have only two sheets, so I'm getting two options. One is related to this particular sheet, one is the additional sheet. So that's why I have a check box over there. I can change anytime whenever I want. Then the last option is only this worksheet. So which means this filter will be applicable to only this sheet, irrespective of number of sheets, irrespective of number of data sources in your database. It will be applied to only this particular sheet, right? Is it clear?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Now format filters is nothing but changing the color, font, shading colors and all. So you can just click and play with it, whatever you want. Whatever options are available here, you can change those color, font, and make it beautiful the way you want. We will move ahead. Customize. Okay, customize the option wherein by default we show all values, right? Likewise, though I have in this particular filter, I have selected single value drop down, but I still see one option called all, right? Maybe I don't want to show this all. What I can do is customize, I'll uncheck this. Now, I don't see that all option. It's gone. I will see all the individual values. I won't be able to select all the values in one. I would be only allowed to select one value at a time. Okay, so that all option is for this only. If you want to show all the things in one way. Then the next one is show include and exclude. Right? What is the meaning of include and exclude? Anybody?
Show include and exclude means it should show included item or excluded item. Item excluded or you want to include.
Right. So, I mean, in the current view, if you see, they are able to see all the cities, right? But for a particular city, because it is going quite high, maybe it is my outlier, right? This particular city, New York City, has the maximum sales, and if I include this in all the analysis, it might reduce my, it might bias my data. It might polarize, right? Do we understand this outlier logic? What is outlier?
Outlier is something which will go way higher or lower than our average line. So
Correct. But why it is important to remove that?
because it will bias the aggregated mean summarized data if we include that. It's not
Correct.
like we can blindly discard that, but we need to see if that is making sense to the kind of data we have. Accordingly, we can decide.
Right. Bio, does that make sense?
I didn't get that.
Okay. Let me. I was just asking, like, why it is important to remove outliers from the data.
Okay. What are outlines?
Okay. Outlier. So let me show you. Let's say in a company, uh, there are many employees. Let's say employee 1 up to employee 10 or 13. Okay. 10 employees are there, and their salary, let's say on an average they are getting, let's say 500, sorry, 5,000, 4,500. Maybe somebody is getting 5,500, somebody is getting this, somebody is getting 6,000, somebody is getting, let's say, similar amounts, like, but let's say there is one employee who is getting 50,000, right? So if I find out the average of this particular data, will it give me a correct picture? The average would be, let's say, average is coming as 9,000, 9,269. So if I asked this question, is this average giving me the true value? Is it correct?
Yes.
I mean, mathematically you can say it is correct. But if I
Yeah.
ask you to do the analysis using this sample data, your statistical modeling will never give you the correct results. Reason, because of this person who has the 50,000 of salary, our data is biased. If I remove this, now you'll see the true average because our 99% population is falling into this range, right? Because of that one person, my average was going up to 9,000. And the same case happened with the lower person also. Let's say if I put 1 here, or let's say 100. Okay. Now you see, it's not impacting that much, but either if it is very low or if it is too high, my average will not be a true value. Those incidents or those elements are called outlier because they are falling way apart from the average line of the whole population. So while doing population analysis, sample analysis or statistical analysis, we need to remove these outliers. That's very important, right? And that is what over here, I mean, it is not a statistical analysis, but yes, over here if you see, the trend of New York is way higher than other cities, which means if I try to find out the average of this data, because of New York, I might not get the true value of average, right? So in such situations, while doing analysis, you can include or exclude some outliers, and for that, Tableau gives you, you know, if you see here, right click, it says exclude. This option is there right now. If I say exclude, that line is gone. I mean, so that particular point is gone. Rest of the trend line for New York you have. That particular point where it was too high, that is gone. So this is how you can exclude and include. That option, if you want to disable from the users, you can come here and uncheck this. Users will not see that option. Include or exclude. Right? I just covered, that topic here for outliers, but all was because of this include and exclude. Then you have show filter types, show more and fewer buttons, show all the values button. So you can go through all of these. Then edit title is nothing. You can just change the name of this filter. The major other options which will come in picture is related to these two. Only relevant values or all the values. What is the difference between these two? Only relevant values and all the values. What's the difference? Okay. Okay. Let me add one more filter here, then I'll talk about it. Okay. Region. Use
Satya, just
all.
one doubt.
Yeah, please tell me.
Uh, we spoke about removing the outliers, right? And I didn't get it. How we are getting rid of those outliers here.
See, regarding in this particular visualization, you're talking about in general sense.
In this particular report as of now.
Okay, so over here, see, I was just showing that for end users. See, for Tableau reports, generally the users are leadership or maybe the business people. Okay, so for them, if we give include and exclude option, it's easy for them to remove a particular point from the data set or particular element from the data set and do the further analysis. So that's why we give that include and exclude option. But in this particular scenario, what I did, it's not actually very relevant here. If I just exclude this particular point, right, now you can see my trend line has changed. New York City is still there, but that particular sales has gone. So we are not excluding the complete city, we have just excluded that particular point from this data.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now if you see my trend is not in this line, but again it's very close.
Yeah, but this is not correct, right? Yeah, it is
This
incorrect.
scenario, yes, this scenario for if you say outlier one, yeah, then it is not correct.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
It's the same behavior, but this is not the right use case here.
Yeah, maybe we'll see in future.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, so I was talking about this relevant values and all the values in database. Do we understand this? I mean, what we are talking about? Only relevant values and all the values in database? Okay, let me tell you.
No, Satya.
Okay. Right now you can see there are how many cities? I don't know. Let me get the count that how many cities are there. Column. Sorry. I want to get the count. So I have total, let me take the distinct, 531 cities are there in my data. Okay. So in drop down, it will show all 531 cities. Fine. I don't think it is 531 or maybe I hope there is no other filter here. But if there is no other filter, it will show all 531. But my question is, if I select a particular region called central, is it still required to show all 531 filters here?
No,
Is it relevant, right? No, right?
no.
In Indian terms, if I select, let's say, UP here, right, Uttar Pradesh or Andhra Pradesh, AP, anything, do we really need to show all the cities? No, right? Because if I'm already filtered on a higher level, I would not show, I mean, we need not to show the values which doesn't fall under that. What we can do in that scenario, we should show only those values which fall under the higher filter, highest filter. So for that, if I apply here, let's say only relevant values, now if you see, okay, I still see a lot of things. Let me change the region. West, no. Is it making any difference? Only relevant values? Yeah, the cities are changing as basically. If you see, if you see, for east, this scroll bar is kind of this big. If you go for any particular, let's say central, the scroll bar is changing. Or in other words, I can say, let me apply these filters to all the sheets, and then we can see this feature apply to all. And I'll go here, labels, show filter, and show filter. Okay, I'm showing all the cities. So in particular, central region we have 181. In east we have 108. In south region we have 125. And if you go by west, we have 169. So it's accordingly, showing the cities here in this scenario. Whatever region we are selecting, the cities are changing. Okay, it will show only the relevant values in the subsequent filters. If we select that option, fine. Are we good?
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Okay, okay. Now, just one thing which I was left with will show the blending, that what exactly blending is. So far we were connected with only one data set, data source. I'll connect one more. Say EU Superstore. Okay, I think it's same. I'll take some other field. Results. Okay. What is that? Okay. I have added another data set called results, right? But I don't want results to be joined here. It's a join what we are doing right here. It has four options: inner, left, right, and full, and it will join basis the common fields. You can apply more than one fields if you want. Customer ID, right? You can join your data either left, right, inner, full, outer join. You can apply whichever you want. But in this scenario, I don't want this join to be applicable. What I want, as I move ahead on the sheet side, I don't think it will break this thing. Okay, my sample superstore is ready. We'll add from here. I basically want to go to a next. Okay, yes, now it is ready. So if you see under here, you have two data sources. One is sample superstore and another is sheet one.
Mhm.
Okay. Now this sheet one, maybe it might have similar fields, but what I want once I'm inside of our worksheet, I want to join both the data sources. So there was one way, either you can join those two into one particular, data connection level, data source level, or you can come to a particular sheet level and over here you can join multiple data sources. So right now you can see sample superstore and sheet one. These are the two data sources which are created here, right? And you can see these signs here, link button, but I will not be using these link buttons right now. What I would do, I'll go to my data tab and go to edit relationships. So what this relationship does, it will show you both the data sources here, whether it is Superstore or results, right? It will show you all the fields related to both the data sources. Now, over here, you can create the joins or relations. So if you see, right, it has already created, both the relations. Over here, like first field is coming from Superstore, second field is coming from results, sheet one. So because my both the data source have same fields, it is automatically mapping. In case your data doesn't have, same sheets, then In case your data doesn't have same sheets, in that case you need to add it manually, right? So you can click on custom. If you wish, you can add new relationship, or if you want, you can edit the existing relationship. So that is how you can customize the joins inside workbook. But these things or these joins are not called joins. These type of joins are called data blending. Like you are blending the data coming from two different sources into your workbook. And once you apply these signs, they turn into red, which means the relation between those databases or data sources is active, right? So this is the same concept what I was talking here about related data sources. So like if I drag this field called city now, you can see an orange icon here, which means as soon as I drag it here, it will be impacted or it will impact both the data sources, sample as well as sheet 1, right? Whatever visualization I create here, that will be impacted because of both data sources. So in case you want to take data from two different data sources into one, you can go with this blending option, and you can kind of merge the data coming from two different sources into one visualization. Is it clear?
Satya, when we say that it will impact both the data sources, I mean, how it is impacting?
When I say data source, basically it will connect to both data sources and fetch the data into your Tableau workbook, right?
In the dimension area, it doesn't show, let's say city you have selected on, right? So it doesn't
Yeah.
show whether the city was from seat 1 or it was from the sample supposed to. Is
I'll tell you.
how,
It tells that clearly where it is coming from. Just a minute. Okay. So right now on this particular sheet, you have both the data sources, right?
yes, yes.
Now, whichever data source shows you the blue color, which means you are fetching the fields from that particular data source. And the other data source which has the orange color, which means you are linking with that particular data source. Okay. So even on a single sheet where you have, let's say you have not merged, right? Here we have not used any kind of merging. I'm just getting data from this particular data source, so it has the blue icon. As soon as I will create a blending thing and fetch data field, then you will see the orange sign, right? All right. Any questions? Bio Smriti.
No question.
Okay.
So,
So
why are we not going with join and why blending? Because
no,
to
no.
me it looks same.
Exactly. See, joining. If you ask me personally, I will say joining is a better option. You can go with the joining also, right? But the constraint with joining is you need to have access at this level only in the same connection. You can do the joining here, right? Joining is preferable if your data source, if all the objects are coming from one data source. In case you have two different data sources, right? Here I at the same time. I'm doing that at the one level only, right? If you are able to achieve this thing, this is the best option. It will be faster than what you are doing in the blending, right? If you need to merge data from two different sources, I would say go with the joining as a first option. In case you cannot achieve that, then go with the blending, right? Actually, over here, if you see, right, we are able to create multiple connections under one data source. In old versions, it was not possible. Earlier, they gave blending as a second option and only one connection you were supposed to make. But now, in the latest versions, like I think starting from 2010 only, you are able to connect create multiple connections. So if it is possible in join, use join. That is better. That's powerful. That will have more flexibility, because in blending there are many limitations. Like left or right join, you cannot apply properly. The main data which you are fetching from the other data, you can do only aggregation, right? So blending is not the kind of better approach to go with. Is it clear?
Yeah, that means the blending means it is inner join every time by default.
Not an inner join. Blending means it's a kind of left join, but from the second sheet, for second data source, you can get the aggregation record. You will not be able to fetch all the fields. It will give you some error, right? Blending has many limitations. That's why I don't recommend to go with blending. Try to create joins.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So using blending or join, it depends on our own discretion, right?
See, if you are using old versions of Tableau, then blending will be, I mean, let's say in old versions of Tableau, if you want to combine data from two different data sources, blending was the only option. In old versions, multiple joins were not there. Joins within one data source it was there, but joining data from multiple data sources was not there. Now it is available. So that's why I'm saying go with joins.
Okay.
I can share the detailed, limitations of blending and advantage of joins, so that it would be more clear.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question before we drop?
So maybe can we try if that is possible? A same
Okay.
scenario we'll try to implement using join and using blending, and maybe you can uh,
See the difference, right?
see the difference and yeah.
Of course, we can do that. We can easily do that, right? Try it, on your system, or else we can, start with the same topic tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll give a try or else we'll
Yeah,
go for
yeah,
it.
yeah. Right? But just think about the problem statement what I gave, because we need to work on that also. Okay? And
Yeah.
that will just for hint, that will involve your parameter as well as calculated field, both. Okay?
Yeah.
All right then. So I'll just share the recording and do check whether everybody is able to access that or not.
So
Yeah. All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Good night.